Chi-Town, what up? You are now tuned into the Breakin podcast show. Boy, wicked beat. Blang, blang, blang. Break free. Worldwide. Break free. Worldwide. Break free. Worldwide. Break free. Worldwide.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode number 36 of the Break Free Worldwide podcast. It's a very special podcast. Today we are talking about competitive breaking. But first, do you keep your phone? You don't keep your phone in between your legs?
I can do it now if it's bothering you.
I was just
Sorry.
curious, like, people out there, y'all can answer this question too. But do you keep your phone like in between your legs
When
or
I'm
in
driving,
your pocket?
when I'm
in between your
driving, I
legs?
put it in between
Oh.
my legs.
Get a little buzz.
Yeah. Or not. Yeah.
But today we're talking about competitive breaking, and
Yeah.
this is a topic that we've gotten a
Wait,
request
wait,
to talk
wait.
about, and
I just want to say something real quick
let's go.
because we're about to talk about breakdance.
Mm-hmm.
So, how was the weekend?
It was good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just want to just get something going before we talk about breaking. So, it was Valentine's Day,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
What'd you do for Valentine's?
Me and Kelly, my wife, we did a painting class, like a couples painting class where you drink wine and do a painting, and we did pretty good. Hanging up in our kitchen now.
Oh.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
Nothing. Didn't do nothing. Yeah. But today's my wife and I's anniversary, so we celebrated 14 years last night. Went to dinner. Went to a movie.
Congratulations.
I started a TikTok.
Yes.
Yeah.
Big
so,
news.
yeah.
Are you
really big
famous
news.
yet?
I'm pretty close. I have about 300 followers.
Yeah. Drop your TikTok,
And,
your talk.
B-Boy Moy, baby. You know what I'm saying? If you're not following, follow now.
Yep.
But yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
It allows me to do something different
Yeah.
instead of breakdance all the time. But all right.
You can't escape it.
Competitive breaking.
Competitive breaking.
Yeah.
So this is something that a lot of people ask questions about and want us to talk about.
Yeah.
And I think the overall subject of it, competitive breaking, we could talk about a lot of things. We could talk about judging. We could talk about the current state of competitive breaking. But let's start maybe let's start with you, the old guy in this exchange right here, because you know a lot more than me, because you're older than me, a lot older than me. So let's go with how has it changed over the years, like you competing and judging, and what is the main thing that you see that's different from 1960s, whatever?
Yeah, the 60s.
The days they used to break, and now that you came all this long way to now, what's the difference?
Well, the number one thing is there are a lot more competitions. I feel like there's
Quantity.
Yeah, there's a lot of competitions, and I feel like they happen every other weekend, if not every weekend.
Mhm.
And I feel like before the emphasis on breaking was really just to express yourself and be yourself and you know, get good for your own good. But now, because of competition, the level of training and the level of focus is really directed towards competitive breaking.
Mhm.
So I've seen a big shift on that. From a negative side, I feel like B-boys and B-girls are trying to fit within this formula, or this, like, they're trying to conform to this world of competitive breaking to feel like to have a chance to win, I guess, to have a chance to win. And I feel like it's pulling away from, you know, dancers truly discovering themselves as artists and being individual and unique. On the positive side, you know, it's bringing much more, I guess, what can I say? Besides sponsors and endorsement deals and things like that, it's bringing a lot more attention to breaking. It's bringing a lot more attention to breaking in terms of breaking necessarily becoming more commercialized and letting, I guess, the community know and the general public know that this is not just a street dance. You know, now it's much bigger than that. Obviously, with, you know, Olympics jumping on board and things like that. Now, you know, I see that as a plus, as a positive, because, you know, we were once stuck in this kind of rut of, you know, these guys are just thugs, street dancers, and now, you know, we're being labeled and categorized a little bit different, because now you got the media saying, you know, this is becoming a sport. You know, if people want to call it that or not, but you know, the Olympics are calling it that, and so I feel like that brings a sense of positivity because it's going to allow for more opportunity. It's going to allow for an influx of money and capital to come into our community and just create that ecosystem or more opportunity for the breakers. And so those are the two main things that I've seen that have changed over the past, let's just say 15, 20 years since I first started, because you know, breaking competitions were rare. There was maybe 3 or 4 events in the U.S. that were kind of major. And now, like I said, they happen all the time. And so you looked forward to these 3 or 4 events, you know, and to
made
be
it
there.
more sacred in a way.
Yeah, they were way more sacred. And so when you would go, if you got knocked out of the competition or out of the tournament or whatever you want to call it, like, you would still enjoy the competition. Now breakers go to events, they get knocked out and then they go home. You know, because they feel like it's a waste of time to stay there, and I think that's whack. Because
I've actually seen people cry and go home.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've seen it all. But
tears shed.
At the same time, you know, we got to be supporters of the events, regardless whether we lose or we win, and so you know, you know, you see these ups and these downs, but I think it's important to understand that competitive breaking is good for the scene, because without competition, I feel like we'll lack a sense of growth in terms of commercialization. Whether people see that good or bad, I see it mostly as good because it provides more opportunity for people in the scene.
Or even just within the culture, like pushing the artistry forward and like the level of innovation and the level of skill.
Yeah, our platforms become a little bit more valuable.
Yeah.
And so we start to get treated with a little bit more respect than just coming off the street and just say, yeah, we do this breakdance stuff.
On the topic of like differences, me myself, like I started in 2006 and I've been heavy like since the beginning. I've been battling since the beginning, whether it's like local competitions or traveling. That's always been my thing. It's just entering, competing. That's where like my skills were bred, I think, on top of my mentors and teachers. But I struggle with like me myself, like I definitely I know that there's like a difference in the jams, but it's hard for me to pinpoint it from the era of like the mid to late 2000s to now, because I also know that like I've grown myself.
Yeah.
Like me myself have my mentality and my skills or mentality and thought process has changed, so that itself makes me experience jams differently. You know what I'm saying? So like when I was a kid in the late 2000s experiencing these jams, that different mindset might have made me more hype and made me experience this more and enjoy it more. And now that I'm older, it might make me not enjoy it, or what I enjoyed then I don't enjoy now. So I struggle with pinpointing exactly like what is the difference, you know, because I factor that in. And I think a lot of people don't necessarily factor that in. A lot of people are quick to be like, man, it was better back then, or this and that. And one of the most glaring things that I see, or like if I can like try and pinpoint it and simplify it, is I just think that there's a lack of and this is like on a promotion side, and like I guess I would be calling out promoters in a sense for this, but I think that promoters have gotten lazy. And if you look at that, like the core of the event, like how the event is planned and the format of the event, it's kind of like all the same, like with the little things switched up and dressed up in it, you know. But I don't think people are trying to like really do things differently, and I think that's the core of hip hop, and that's the core of our dance, and that's what breaking is. It's like pushing things forward, unique, fresh ideas, and I think that should exist at a promoter's level too. It's like let's not just do the same wait in line to sign up and do prelims and top 16 and this and that. And I think a lot of people too don't think about the experience of a jam first, like even on a simple level of like how it's decorated, you know, like where this banner is hung up or the floor and how the audience is positioned. So I think it's really monotonous, and I think a lot of people feel that monotony is like, man, it's the same thing everywhere I go. Like I already know what to expect when I go here, you know.
Well, I think it's like normal for breakers to feel a certain way, like if something is missing, especially if they come from a certain era. Like when you started dancing, it was kind of like the transition between, you know, leaving this early phase of like where competitions were still rare, right? And then where they kind of started to expand a little bit. So you were kind of in that in-between phase. And then also you you come from a crew, have a choral that really stems from this underground world of just getting down anywhere, and whether a competition existed or whether a jam existed or not, you know, Havoc Choral was just it was really bred in the streets. Like that's where Havoc Choral comes from. And so that mentality has already been built in you. And so, you know, going into the competitions nowadays, why maybe they don't excite you so much is because you're still going to get down whether they exist or they don't.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's a question that I asked today to a lot of the younger breakers that are coming in now is like, would you still dance if the competitions didn't exist?
Yeah.
Right? So that could be that void or that feeling that you're not sure of.
Yeah.
And I think that there are some breakers that still feel that, even newer breakers that start now, because they're bred on information off YouTube or social media, that they go back and they really study the tradition or the underground roots of the dance and are really catered to that. But at the same time, you can't just stick to one area, right? You can't. You got to be able to study it all. You got to be able to study where it came from. You got to be able to study where it's going, because then there's going to be some irrelevant and relevant information that's missing on both ends.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's important. It's
Blind
important.
spots.
Yeah, it's important to figure it out all together, and that's why I'm a big supporter of where it comes from, and I'm a big supporter of where it's going, because you know, I love to see growth. I love to see growth. And with this type of art form, you know, things are evolving every single day.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you're not keeping track and staying up to date with that evolution, then you're going to get left behind.
Yeah,
and I feel that those people that are getting left behind are the ones that are complaining about what was better back then or what was different, you know? And it's because
it's like you can't.
It's a lack of effort. It's a lack of effort of really trying to really keep up with competitive breaking or where breaking is going.
Yeah,
you know?
you can't ignore what's happening. I think that's what it simply comes down to. You can't ignore, and you can't like, you have to embrace it in some sense. Like you don't have to fully back it and support it and be like, yes, 100%. This is like, you can have your opinions, and there should be. I mean, that's the balance.
Well, I think
there needs to be people who are counterculture, and there needs to be people who do push it forward. But there's a way to do it, and like, if you are totally against it to the fact where you don't participate or you don't bring something new to the table, then I think that's where the problems arise. It's lack of participation, apathy, you know?
There's a difference between like being concerned about the growth of breaking and competitions
being jaded
and just hating or just hating it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's, if you don't have concerns, then you don't truly care.
Yeah.
So because I support competitive breaking and where it's going, doesn't mean I don't have concerns.
Yeah.
It's just that I'm not going to spend too much time on the concerns, because there's much more positive that needs reflection or attention rather than the negative side.
But you know what? Earlier you were talking about like, and we both addressed like, some people might not be as excited about jams nowadays or whatever it might be, the difference. But what I've found that makes me like, it doesn't like, anything could be happening in the current state of jams, like the worst issues or whatever, but I know for me, like at the core of it, what makes me hyped to compete or battle or go represent, like on a basic level, is just like I'm hyped to, like I've been in the lab, like I've been creating a different style, I feel like lately, like, and I've been on it, and I feel like if you're genuinely in the lab and you're genuinely training and you're bringing something new and you're creating something new and you're at a good point in your dance, you're going to be hyped to compete and represent no matter what it is, no matter the environment, no matter if it's a whack jam or it's the same monotonous jam.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
I don't think it's the idea of competing. It's the idea of just getting down and showcasing.
That's what gets you hyped.
The expression.
But that's only there if you are genuinely like enjoying your dance and improving your artistry and improving your craft. And that goes to go up into another topic of like being successful in competitions. You know, you talked about like people trying to fit a formula and fit the bill and things like that. And I look at it like, yeah, you could see some success in fitting the trends. Like, yeah, you could win. You could see some success and bypass rounds and maybe take some titles by doing the same thing that everyone else is doing or fitting some formula, whatever they may be. But like the true things that push this culture forward and what is going to be undeniable, let's just put you in a judge's chair, you know, and you have somebody that is like hitting A to Z, like executing and hitting all the categories. Like it's a good solid round, you know, like you can say, all right, that's a good solid round. But then they're going against somebody that just totally like brought their vibe and their presence to the environment right there and they took it over. Like
Yeah.
it's undeniable. Like what they just brought right there was special. On
Right.
top of them hitting categories and rocking foundationally. Like what is gonna win 100% of the time?
Probably the guy that
Not the good solid
No,
round.
not that-
the person
yeah.
that brought a moment. That brought a moment and like. You know, that's what hip hop is. That's what breaking is. It's about like you bringing your authenticity and you bringing your uniqueness to what, like you take over the environment,
Yeah.
you take over the vibe. So
Yeah.
let's just say a promoter did a whack job of curating a vibe. The dancer came in and just blew the spot up and just turned the vibe upside down. Like
Yeah.
that's what I look forward to.
No, I think you're right, and I think it's extremely important for dancers. That's why it's extremely important for dancers to really focus on themselves and being free in what they do and loving what they do. You know, because if it becomes a job, then you start to get burnt out. You know, and so I even tell competitive breakers that like are seasoned competitive breakers where this is what they do they want to go to every major competition. And it's more of like pick and choose, because you don't want people to see everything that you're doing, because then you're going to look repetitive. Take some time, go to the lab, work on new things, reinvent. I mean, the biggest and probably toughest obstacle is reinvention, and to be able to do it for so long and still try to compete and change who you are and what you represent is really, really important, but very, very tough to do. That's why I feel like there's a lot of dancers who come from my era that are still competing that they don't get recognized the way they should be. And it's not because, or it's not because they're not winning first or getting second place or, third place. It's just the idea that they're bringing something different. You know what I mean? If you go to a competition nowadays, I'm going to be real with you. 8 out of 10 dancers look the same. Look the same, but they're hitting those categories that you said from A to Z, very solid, and they're doing what it takes, right? They're fitting this bill, they're fitting this formula, where these other dancers just come in completely different. Might not be as consistent as much because he's just having these moments, but at the same time, I feel like that dancer is going to be respected more long term than the competitive breaker that's hitting A to Z.
And if they find a way to be consistent and execute on top of that, like that's opportunity. Like the fact that you said that 8 out of 10 dancers look the same. For me, I look at that like opportunity, and everybody out there should look at that as opportunity.
Right.
Like because of the fact that 8 out of 10 dancers look the same, how much easier is it going to be for you to stand out as yourself if you come out doing something different,
Right.
Like that's the opportunity that exists now. Like, if all this stuff is true and jams are the same and people aren't doing this and B-boys are looking the same, well, then that's more of an opportunity for you to come with something fresh and something original.
Yeah. No, man, this is kind of a tough subject because I really dig the underground world. I sometimes think back and I go back and I'm thinking about those times where you would just go to an event and you would just call people out all day and all night. You know what I mean? That's what we would do. People have not seen those days anymore because most events are curated around competition, which is totally fine because that's what's happening today, right? But at the same time, I do think about it, but competitive breaking is where it's at right now. I hate to even say that, but it is. It's like, if you're a lover of the dance, that's awesome. But if you want to be known for breaking, you got to be in the competitive world. Like, you got to be in the competitive world, or you better be doing something different on the business side of breaking that is bringing something unique to the community that people need you and your focus for it to design to get what I can say, like the recognition from the community. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's kind of a tough subject.
For it to pop off.
Yeah, for it to pop off, but it's a tough subject because I really dig both, but at the same time,
what I think it is
it's
this,
competitive breaking. It's where it's at.
What I think it is I think the more the underground type person or the artistic person, like I think those are the personalities that can more so be jaded and like have disdain. And I think whenever they enter competitions, I could see it on people's face, and like when they dance, like I could tell that they're original and they really love this craft and they're trying to do something original and unique. But I also can see that in their dance they have some sort of bitterness, like, and I could see that when they dance. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think the dancer who's more so like made the choice to like, all right, I'm gonna be a solid B-boy or B-girl, and I'm gonna fit A to Z categories. They're owning that role. Like they don't have a problem with being that B-boy or B-girl. You know what I'm saying? And they when they dance, you could see that they're comfortable and they're being themselves in that way. They're like, I'm not trying to really like push the boundaries. I'm gonna fit the A to Z role and I'm gonna do good in it. And they see success in that. Yeah. So for me, that's a testament to like if you're out there and you do have an artistic mindset and you're trying to push originality, like you still have to be happy. Like you still have to like not feel jaded and be bitter about this dance. You still got to come and be comfortable with it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you know, my biggest pet peeve right now in the breaking community is like when the community and breakers within the community are saying, oh, he's a cypher b-boy or b-girl, or he's a competitive b-boy b-girl. Like,
that separation.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be separated. It's you're a breaker, you're a b-boy and a b-girl, and they can jump in any part of the field and make it happen. You know, and for me that's the biggest. It's the biggest excuse that people can come up with. You know, because some people can like this world and then all of a sudden they just hate this world because they don't dig it. But at the same time, it's like, who are we to like pinpoint something and just say, no, that shouldn't exist, or no, that whole competition thing is whack. Like, let people do what they love to do. Some people love to compete more. Some people love to cipher more. At the same time, breakers are breakers, and I just hope that that there will be one day in the scene where it's not separated. Right. It's not separated.
What I've learned is that it's really counterproductive to be dismissive. And like this is just in life in general. Like if you have a personality that ends up being dismissive, you're like, nah, like this is what I stand for. That other stuff, like nah, I'm not even gonna deal with it. You know, like that's like really a toxic way to approach life. And like if you relate that to breaking, it's like you can't be like, oh yeah, it's all about the cipher and competitions. Nah. Like you're completely dismissing a group of people who enjoy this, and like you're putting them,
and I think that's why
that doesn't do that. That's not productive, man. That doesn't help either side.
It's because, and here's why it's super whack. Besides the fact that it's just negative in general, but everyone's coming from a different time and a different place. You know, and that's what we have to understand. You know, I come from an era where the competitions were so big. Newer kids are coming from an era where it's just competition. So who are we from my era to say anything bad about those guys? That's what they know. That's what they know. Yeah, they should do their research and know what existed before then. But at the same time, if that's what they know, that's what they know. You know? And we would develop more over time through experience. And so, you know, I just hope that people really understand the change and what's happening. It's extremely important. I think it's great for our community and our culture because it's going to allow for more opportunities. So it really depends on how you accept it or not. And I feel like more and more people are starting to be more accepting to it because, you know, it's fun. You know, I'm a fan of breaking. Besides being a b-boy, I'm a fan of it. So I enjoy watching competitions here and there because I think it's cool. If we could sit down and watch UFC or we could sit down and watch basketball, why can't we sit down and enjoy our own category? Why do we gotta hate on it?
It's all about perspective at the end of the day, man. As with a lot of other things, I think what I said earlier, like that's just my perspective. Is if I look at things and I have my perspective, or I develop my beliefs or my opinions about this, like I see it as opportunity. Like wherever the scene lacks this, there lies opportunity in this area. So, yo, shout out to our Philly team in the house. Come up, boys. Come up, boys. Shout out to our Philly squad. Road dogs in the house. You can tell by the fit. You can tell by the fit.
Boys looking dirty and sweaty.
How y'all feeling?
Feeling dirty.
Smell like butt.
Feeling dirty.
Smell like straight butt.
Yeah, for an hour. Well, I said an hour. A day.
What's going down?
If you ever go on the road with D-Tex, don't let him eat Popeye.
You like that?
Hey, now's the opportunity to share how y'all really feel about each other after that van ride, all those hours.
All the time, man.
Everybody has to share an opinion about somebody right now and let y'all know how y'all really feel.
Hey, if y'all don't know who Rip Gillian is, it's about to go down. Just saying.
Wait, who's Rick Gillian?
Rip Gillian.
Who's Rip Gillian?
Rip G?
Truth. He's the truth. He's the truth.
Rip G?
Truf.
Come on, Bruce. Shout out Bruce Wayne in the house.
Bruce Wayne.
Make some noise for Bruce Wayne.
Bruce Wayne.
Shout out to this guy. Happy birthday.
Thank you, bro.
For sure.
Yes,
Shout out
sir.
to this
Wayne.
guy. He's just a man.
Yeah,
so.
man. So what y'all talking about? What y'all talking about?
We're talking about competitive breaking. What are your
Breakdance.
thoughts on it?
Yeah.
Competitive breaking. I just think it's
Very
What's your win total? What's your win total, sir?
my ratio.
Yeah, no, your total. How many wins you got under your belt? Do you even have a belt on right now?
All right, let's just say this.
Before you-
out of
You
every,
can't even get wins before you
out
put a
of
belt
every-
on, boy.
out of every 3 competitions that you enter, how many do you win?
Every
0.5.
three, One.
0.5.
One, so 1 out of 3. That's not bad.
I got a 66% ratio.
Nah,
That means-
nah.
That means you win
Wait,
2 out of 3.
I'm gonna have to fact check that. I'm gonna have to fact
Wait,
check.
what?
it.
Some people don't know math.
I want receipts. I want receipts. I want receipts. I'm
All right, let me think about it.
gonna have to fact check that.
All right, let me get the camera. Look at the camera.
All right.
All right, so
Neck pillow.
no.
Huh?
Last year, we're gonna call it season. Last season, I did
See? Season breakers.
season breakers. Last season, I
Marinated.
did about 17 competitions and won 9.
One?
All right.
But I got to the final.
No, that's not stat. That's not an actual stat. No one cares about that.
Okay.
No one remembers second place, Jeffro.
You're about 60%.
Nobody remembers
65%.
second place, Jeffro.
Yeah, you're about 65%.
Nobody remembers
winner,
second place, bro.
Yes,
Right?
they do.
No, they don't.
First loser.
Yeah.
All right, so
Kanaris won like 4 out of 5 jams last year.
There we go. And he's
He's
a
got a better ratio than you.
and he's the quietest one. Look, he hasn't even been talking, and he was winning, not talking and winning, boy.
that's what happened.
And he got off whites on. Look at that. He's winning all over the place.
DJ's got second place like 75 times last year.
Hey, out of the one-on-one,
Out of 66 competitions.
out of 66 competitions, of 4 one-on-ones, I won 1. So I'm on 25%. What's up?
Oh, nice. Batting,
But the
Hey,
best
that's-
year one, right?
batting
No, that's
25.
not battle of the year.
Batting
That's,
25.
Germany won. I won in Germany.
Yeah, so
How was the trip
that's good,
though?
guys.
How was the trip though, yo?
Nice trip. Really
Trip was
sucks,
good.
but the food
It was
good.
cold, huh?
No, it was right.
Right?
Yeah.
It seemed like y'all had snow.
No. It was
No?
right.
Okay.
Yeah, I felt
All right.
That was a
It
filter.
was all around good
What?
shit.
That was a filter.
Yeah, that was a filter.
That's a filter that he had.
TikTok.
It was right. It was right.
All right, good. Well, I'm glad you guys made it back safe.
Competitive breaking.
Who did the most driving?
Not when you come back.
Bruce.
Yeah, Bruce
I
does
already
hold it
knew
down.
that. Yeah, Bruce
Yeah,
holds
Bruce
it
holds
down.
it
Because
down.
Bruce is a DJ. He's,
Bruce,
he's
hey.
used to being up at night, so he
Bruce
drives
gets
the
that
night
monster.
hours.
Bruce gets that monster, and you can't stop him, boy.
Sometimes they be going the wrong way, though.
Boy.
Kanaris was straight chilling the whole time.
Yeah. Shout out to
I
Canaris.
forgot Canard.
Always just chilling and
Canars is
sitting.
a spare tire.
Yeah.
He comes in the emergency case basis.
Yeah.
On the side note, we lost the Fifth Element shoes.
What?
Wait, what?
On the side note.
Where did that come
I
from?
just have to talk. I just gotta talk to the viewers about this. That's how we knew the trip was gonna be bad. You know.
Rad is like the ASAP mob of breaking. That's
But we lost.
pretty damn close.
Oh, it says it right there.
Yeah.
Wait, I didn't
That is
understand.
the
I wanted.
Ace
I was really paying attention to what Jeffro was saying. Where did he go? Where were you going with that?
I don't know. It was just on my mind.
What's the next competition that you're doing? Nobody cares about the shoes you lost.
Vegas.
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 Okay. Aren't you doing that too?
I'm doing that too.
Well, you gonna lose. That's it.
All right.
We're gonna see how we're
You're
gonna
not
see
about
what
my
that
ratio.
ratio really look like.
That's where you're gonna see the
Nah,
ratio.
look.
Are you going to that too?
Nah.
That's fine because you know what? Good
But
luck,
about the
sir.
ratio,
I'm not gonna
I'm
talk
probably
mess
gonna
to you.
show
I'm gonna say good luck, sir, like a true competitor.
Hey, wait! Don't you owe me
Yes, sir.
dinner?
Don't you always?
I took him out.
He
Already.
already took me out. You owe me dinner.
No, I took you out. You remember?
No, when?
That roll taco, pink taco, in Vegas.
Ooh.
Man, I don't know, dog.
Taco.
Pink
Sounds like a
taco
good
in
spot.
Vegas.
I don't
It
know.
was at the
Pink
Nat
taco
Cell
is
View.
really good, but I think you owe me dinner.
I just-
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
It doesn't count when Monster pays for it.
I paid for it.
Monster pay, which means monster pay for it.
All right,
Yeah, exactly.
I gotta go. It was a good trip. I gotta head to Break Free Northwest, get
Alright.
some real work done.
All right,
All right,
dog.
man.
We love you.
Love you too, man.
Follow Beast on TikTok. Beast Boogie.
TikTok at Beast Boogie.
Oh yeah,
Instagram at
TikTok
Beast
is
Boogie.
consuming my life right now.
Follow him at Rick Gillian.
Oh, my boy let me hang you.
On
Rip
air.
Gillian. You're Rip
There
Gillian?
you go.
Yeah.
B-boy Rip Gillian?
Now, what happened was we told Jeffrey he had to room with Rip Gillian, the new monster, the new downhill jet skier from from Monster Energy.
All right.
And it was just an ongoing joke, and now he's a real character.
Nice. Nice. I like that.
Well, that concludes our episode, guys. Episode number 36.
No, we're not done.
No, we're done.
We're
now.
done. We're
wrapping
done.
up.
We're done.
So we
We
thank you
wrapped it
guys.
up. Competitive breaking is where it's at, whether you hate it or not. If you're not doing that, you're not gonna get known. I'm sorry. It's just what it is. Or you got to go call out every single major b-boy and b-girl
or you
and
become
smoke them in the
TikTok
cipher.
famous, and
That's true.
solves all your problems.
Or you could just be like Canaris and just be quiet, don't say
do your
nothing,
thing.
and just show up and win out of 4 or 5 jams
And
every
just be a spare
every
tire.
time.
And just be a spare tire.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So
Shout out to Canaris.
every Tuesday, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. We'll see you guys there. Much love to our sponsors, Monster Energy and Houston Media Source. Everyone throw up peace signs. Peace.
Peace.
Love, unity, having fun.
Have you
ASAP.
ever
Mom.
wanted to have your own TV show? We can make that happen at Houston Media Source. When you walk in the door, all you need is an idea. We have everything you need. Studios, cameras, lights, microphones, and more. All professional quality and state-of-the-art. Get started by attending one of our free orientation sessions every Monday at 6 p.m. at our studios at 410 Roberts near Minute Maid Park. Get more information online at hmstv.org. Make your voice heard with Houston Media Source.